Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Having a great day. Today, well, we're back in the studio and it's been a lot of fun making these videos and getting back into the cycle. As you know, here in the channel, we do a lot of interesting videos, whether we're testing out new cars, going to the track with them, seeing new releases as soon as they get unveiled, or we like to take it simple, right, and talk about everything going on in the automotive scene. I do want to really invest more into that segment because these podcast-style videos really do, I think, resonate with a lot of people, whether we're talking about a new car coming out, how to get it, or other problems we're finding in the automotive scene. Today, I really want to talk more about a popular discussion that I've even invested on in Instagram, too. It's all about the Zr1 versus the Mustang GTD on the Nurburgring, because there's so many different ways to look at this, and I wanted to make this video because I recently did a bunch of polling online to see what people actually think. It's one thing for me sharing my views and opinions about the whole subject matter, but to get other people's opinions really does share where people's minds are when it comes to looking at that new Corvette Zr1 versus the Mustang GTD. What is the consensus? And this is from people that aren't always invested into the car scene. I've invested, what, 3 times right now? Let me just not say that again. These opinions and these poll of responses aren't always coming from people who are super savvy when it comes to putting down a fast lap time. These could be random people too. The idea is, when you look at the Corvette Zr1 side by side with the Mustang GTD, how do they stack up? Which one looks faster too? Or if you're basing simply off horsepower, how can things sway in one direction versus the other? So today we're going to break down not only that poll and the responses I've been receiving from different car enthusiasts in the scene, but also I want to talk more about this because there's so many different engineering components that play directly into a lap time. Not only that, aerodynamic upgrades. So let me first start this video, and I just want to get your thoughts, or at least think about in your head, what car do you think is faster? The Mustang GTD or the Corvette Zr1 on the Nurburgring? This is a track that's like 13 miles long. It's got a massive straightaway where you can get up to 200 miles per hour. Also, it's got more turns than any racetrack anywhere in the world, basically. This is the gold standard. This is the almighty track that all these brands and car enthusiasts across the world look towards to find out how different vehicles stack up. And when we hear Ford's commitment for putting down a fast lap time at the Nürburgring, it's really intriguing to me. This is going to be a whole new era. It really is with Ford. They didn't have this commitment with the Ford GT. I can't even remember if they even brought the new Ford GT to the Nürburgring. I'm sure they did for research and development, because a lot of these brands, they do that. They don't always share lap times. There's so much that goes towards putting down a fast lap time, then making it even public. We know the Corvette Zr1 went to the Nürburgring. It was there quite extensively. They did a lot of tests with it out there, a lot of laps. And we can look back to even a year ago to see video of it on the track at the Nürburgring. So if we know that the team has been there quite extensively testing out the vehicle, well, they must have some sort of idea for how fast it's going to be. Will they say it? I know with Ford, they have been building everything up right now. They have a documentary coming out. I think it's called Road to the Ring. And this documentary is going to show us what the process was like making the Mustang into a GT3 car and then a leader on the Nürburgring, depending on how fast it goes. There's so much riding on this with Ford. And to have the Mustang be looked at in a global light, the spotlight, alongside the fastest cars in the world by the most premium automakers in the world, is so cool. I think Ford's gonna do a great job because they are committed. Now, let me show you these poll results. I pull up right here. So on my phone, this is a poll from thousands of people. The results are as follows. 39% of people believe the Mustang GTD will put down a faster lap time than the Corvette Zr1, which has 61%, or the popular vote. Speaking of votes, a lot's going down, I think, over here in America soon, so we shall see with those votes too. I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts. Like, first off, when you look at the voting behind the Corvette Zr1 and then the GTD, well, I think if I were to explain that right away, it has to be to do with the horsepower. The average consumer would think, and I would think so too, that a car with a lot more horsepower would be a lot faster. And they are, right? When you go to a straightaway and you have 200 plus more horsepower than your competitor, of course you're going to be a lot faster accelerating, a lot faster. Now, when you compare these two cars in the Nurburgring, could that 200 horsepower be enough to completely take on and beat the Mustang GTD? The GTD has a few big upgrades that the Corvette doesn't. The Corvette doesn't have active aerodynamics. It doesn't have DRS, nor does it have the amount of downforce that the Mustang GTD has. At least that's what we think. The GTD has a ton of downforce. So is downforce more important than outright horsepower, acceleration? That's the question. That's why I loved making this video, because the concept of comparing a vehicle with more horsepower, that's mid-engine, against a car with a close to 50-50 weight balance that has more downforce and active aero on the most complex track in the world with tons of corners and a massive straightaway, where will they fall? Will the Mustang GTD have better agility in the corners? And then will the Corvette have a massive advantage on that straightaway? I mean, the Corvette could save seconds on that main straightaway. It goes to 233 miles per hour. 233 miles per hour. The GTD doesn't do that. But the GTD has full-on Multimatic suspension that's inboard, and it's adaptive spool valve technology. So the suspension on that Mustang, it's race-like. I actually have been in one vehicle, was in the vehicle on the racetrack for its dynamic debut, the Ford GT Mark IV, the multi-million-dollar Ford GT hypercar, Ford's final send-off, and I had the chance to film it with Ford. I got inside the vehicle for its dynamic debut, which is it stands for the debut of it on the racetrack. It was insane how fast that vehicle was. So fast. It's faster than a lot of GT3 cars, and I'm talking about it because the suspension out of that vehicle, adaptive spool valve, that was the first use case for it, and it was in the Ford GT Mark IV. Now we have that pulled out of that vehicle, and it's inside the Mustang. The AMG Project 1 uses Multimatic suspension. I'm curious if suspension can mean so much more, because it's all about maintaining that traction, that contact patch on the ground, because that allows you to corner faster, right? If your suspension's not adapting enough for the track and you bounce or anything that disrupts the balance of the vehicle or your grip on the ground, that will slow you down, especially in some of those high-speed, unstable sections of the Nurburgring. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If you weigh everything side by side, will the higher horsepower Corvette Zr1 best the Mustang GTD? And my second question to all of you guys today in this podcast episode is, do you think Chevrolet will release a lap time on the Nürburgring for the Corvette Zr1? They could be waiting to see what Ford does, and then they will release their time. The Chevrolet team has a lot going for them because their car is a lot less money, right? At least we think it is. We don't know how much money the Corvette Zr1 is. It could be, what if it's a $300,000 Corvette, right? It will be just like the Mustang. I don't see why they couldn't get close to the Mustang's price. I'm just excited. I'm so excited. This is the time to be a car enthusiast. I love chatting about these vehicles. I'm a total geek about it, total nerd about it. So thank you for bearing with me for these discussion topics. I love when I see two cars that I can't pinpoint and just determine off the top of my head which is faster. You could look at a, let's say, Camaro SS and a Camaro ZL1 1LE and go, that ZL1 1LE is a lot faster on the racetrack, right? When you look at even the Mustang GTD versus GT3 RS and the Corvette Zr1, it's like, I don't know where they'll be. It's like a gray area. They're side by side, right? The performance is unmatched. It's unreal. But I do know the 750S in the garage right now here in the Speed Phenom Film studio. A quick plug for that. If you guys need any PPF, paint protection film, ceramic coating, tinting, you name it, we have a world-class facility here on the coast of Carlsbad, and we have world-class installers that have worked on everything from celebrity car collections to hypercars. So if you're interested in getting any work done on your EV to your sports cars or supercars, come give us a call at 760-496-8607 or email support@speedphenomfilm.com. We've got the best prices around, so we'll definitely take care of you. I started this business because I wanted to find a way to help all of you. So rest assured, we take care of our subscribers here. We take care of our viewers, so you're going to get a great deal. Anyways, but back to the content. I know with my McLaren 750S, I did put down a faster lap time on the track, Laguna Seca, than a pro driver in the GT3 RS. So the GT3 RS is, it looks like from my data, I've compiled a database, it's not as fast as the McLaren 750S. So where will that put the 750S compared to the GTD and more? We just got to find out. We got to find out, and hopefully Ford finally reveals this information. Who knows, tomorrow or in a week from now, we may hear the Nurburgring lap time. And if that's the case, we're set. I mean, we're going to know how fast it is. Anyways, I do want to conclude with two more thoughts. The Corvette has a big advantage being a mid-engine vehicle because the weight distribution is about 60% out back, giving you even more stability for getting on the power. When you lack that rear end weight, you can get the tail end to kick out more easily in corners where the rear end isn't as loaded. And loaded means it's like the weight transfer, right? So you have this iPhone right here. Loading the rear end means that the front of the car is right here, my index finger is, and it's like that. Accelerating. When you're accelerating, your front end kind of picks up, or you feel the weight shift and dig backwards, that means it's loaded. If the weight is mainly up here, right, and you get on the power, well, there's nothing really like sticking the back end down right here, so the tires will just spin. But if you had a balloon underneath the back end of this iPhone or the car, and then it's compressed down, try to spin that balloon, it's not going to spin, it's hooked. I love talking racing and cars. It's fun, it's fun. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Adaptive spool valve tech versus MagneRide, DRS versus no DRS, more horsepower versus less horsepower, front engine 50-50 balance versus mid-engine. Finally, the weight figures, they could be pretty close. We don't know. We don't know how much the Zr1 weighs or the GTD. The Zr1 should be around 4,000 pounds. The GTD could be around 4,000 pounds. So I would not wager the lap time be determined based off the weight of either vehicles. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really does help me out, and subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. While you do that, hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the new videos coming out here on the channel. I'll see you in the next episode.